Thoughts I'd like to share with everybody, hopefully in some coherent manner. But first, my wife and I would like to thank our gracious host and hostess, Jim and Alysha, for a great wedding and dinner party. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, so as you all probably know, Jim has a farm just down the road. He grows hay, cows and bulls. But before Jim moved there, he lived in Raleigh, North Carolina, which is where we met while working at the same company, Alcatel Network System. That was almost 30 years ago. So we know each other a long time. As we worked together on the same projects, Jim and I discovered we had some common interests, namely high-end audio gear and listening to music on said audio gear. We started hanging out during lunch, either going next door to World's Gym to burn off some steam, or our favorite hangout, audio device. There we would go listen to the latest and greatest stereo equipment, some of which we eventually bought. Of course, we had to stop by Fat Daddy's, which had the best chicken sandwiches and fries. We took a lot of long lunches. Over the next 15 years or so, Jim and I worked together in 3 different companies. I even worked for him for a while at one company. It was a startup. They went IPO. It was some crazy, exciting times. During that time, we continued our friendship and spent countless lunch hours either searching for vinyl albums at some bookstore near NC State campus, auditioning stereo gear, or spotting each other at nearby gym. I should mention that during that time, we actually did some work. I found that Jim was a brilliant and well-respected electrical engineer where he specialized in high-frequency analog circuit designs and other specialties. I don't want to embarrass him, so I'll stop here. But he did help me move into a better and more interesting job while I was a great mentor and companion through all the jobs I did. Away from work, you can find me, and sometimes Cindy, my wife, with me. Over at Jim's house listening to music, eating and drinking fine wine. We became good friends with Paula, who had a good ear for music. We always had a good time. She coveted my copy of Who's Tommy album for its pristine sound. I got a kick out of her trying to talk me into trading for it. It is remarkable how good vinyl can sound with a great stereo system. I still listen to that album. As time went on, Jim and I moved to different companies and we saw less of each other. Eventually we lost touch, maybe for a couple of years. Then one day, about 2 years ago, Jim called Cindy to help sell his house. That is when I found out about Paul. We were shocked, we were devastated. When we reconnected, we grieved and we parted. And missed my friends. After Jim moved to Tennessee, we stayed in touch. With phone calls and texting, learned all about growing hay and artificial insemination of cows. Cool stuff. Finally, I made a road trip to see his farm where I heard so much about when I was 40. 50 acres of rolling hills with a creek through it and a view of the mountains. Jim and Paula had a grand idea that was cut short by fate, but Jim pulled up his bootstraps and continued executing the plan. I think it helped him deal with the pain. While I was there, I got to drive his tractors, ride around on the farm, on his four-wheeler. We drank wine, we watched the sunset over the mountains. I didn't want to leave. Like I said, Jim explained in detail how he grew his hay, applying just the amount of chemicals, using technology on his tractors and everything to get the best hay. So I had a little fun here. Bear with me. So y'all seen Breaking Bad, right? Well, to me, Jim is the Walter White of farming. But instead of growing blue sky meth, he grows bluegrass vegetable. Kentucky 31, pure and sweet. He's the Heisenberg of the hay bale. He has all the local cows and horses hooked on his wares. Jim is proud, but he's not prideful as Walter White was. He is good at what he does and enjoys it. In fact, I just found out that Netflix is shooting a pilot about Jim called Breaking Hay. I suggested breaking gas if they passed it. They passed it. But I will have a guest appearance on the show with Jesse Sticica. He's clueless but charming farmer. And I will stop. At some point last year, I could sense that Jim was ready to move on in his life. He missed his partner, but he was ready to accept it was time to move on, past the grief. Jim called us one night and eagerly told us about somebody he met. Her name was Alysha, and he wanted us to meet her. He invited us to Greenville to see Pat Bennett on concert. Now, music has a way of bringing friends together. After the concert, we all went back to hear Joe Morgan and stayed way past the old folks' bedtime, talking and sharing stories. We hit it off with Alysha, and we saw a twinkle in Jim's eye. Didn't get me that time. I didn't think so. We all met up again last fall and crashed in a cabin in the mountains. We had a blast, perfect weather, foliage, love was in the air, all like it. Cindy and I saw that it was meant to be, and we're not too surprised when Jim and Alysha called one night and told us they were getting married. However, we weren't surprised they asked us to go with them on their honeymoon cruise. Seriously, we already had that plan. Anyway, I would like to close here with a toast to Jim and Alysha. May you both find joy and happiness in this new chapter of your lives. Cheers.
Cheers.